Well, taking a bite out of Apple. That's what AntiSec, an offshoot of the hacker collective Anonymous, did just that. Yesterday, releasing 1 million Apple ID profiles. More disturbing still, claims that the information was taken off a laptop belonging to the FBI. The FBI has categorically denied the information, possessing the information in the first place. On their end, Apple has denied supplying the information to the FBI and has tried to calm consumer fears. Let's not forget, Apple is on the verge of a big announcement slated for next week. So, to break all this down with me, RT's own web producer, Andrew Blake, joins me now. Andrew.
Oh, hi.
So, tell me, just break it down for me. What does this mean?
It depends on what's real and what's not.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Okay.
So, give me the facts first.
Okay, well, exactly. We don't really know the facts. The unfortunate thing, when you're covering stories about Anonymous and hacktivism and the whole, this internet subculture entirely, every story that you're going to do is going to be shrouded in secrecy because you are talking about a culture where there are no names or no identities, at least very rarely. And so what is fact and what fiction is a very, very blurry line there. So if history is any precedent, what we're looking at very well will be real because they've followed through quite a number of times before. So let's back up a couple of days. And so what like you were saying, this AntiSec offshoot is like an operation of Anonymous collective members where they pretty much go to expose lack security and rather the need for security in order to protect vital information. And according to AntiSec, they've uncovered millions upon millions of these UDIDs, unique device ID codes, that belong to Apple products, iPhones, iPads, and the like. They've come in contact with millions of these, and the way that they say that they got these was they hacked a laptop belonging to the FBI. So there's two questions right here. If this is all legitimate, one, who is safe if there's 12 million just random iPhone codes just sitting around,
and just
then,
hanging out?
Yeah, and then two, who is especially safe when those codes are stored on the laptop of some random FBI special agent?
I mean, it bears mentioning that the FBI came out and completely denied.
As did Apple, yeah.
As did Apple.
We should say that FBI didn't completely deny this exists. They said that there was, I don't have the exact wording from me, I'm sorry, but they said that there was no breach as far as they were aware. So did the FBI hand over the files? We do know that the FBI was egging on anonymous operatives in chat rooms and IRC channels in the past. That's how they were actually able to net people, was they had informants, they had moles that went in there and fed information. According to the book We Are Anonymous that Parmi Olson from Forbes put out a few months ago, she said that the FBI were going into chat rooms trying to bait lulsec hackers in order to hope that they would go work for Julian Assange, and kind of they were trying to find a connection to get to WikiLeaks by tying them in with the FBI and with these hackers. So did the FBI hand over information, or was it actually just unauthorized, was there an actual breach? Did they go in there? According to these hackers, they did. They were able to get into this computer back in March of this year, access a spreadsheet, pull from it millions and millions of codes, and they've published 1 million of those. And if you ask Andy Greenberg from Forbes, he'll tell you that they look pretty legit to him. So we really don't know the truth right now, and it's unfortunate that we have to do a news story where we actually say, well, we don't really know the truth, but that's part of the allure of this whole thing.
That's absolutely true, but we've covered here at RT, we've covered a lot of stories that have to do, the concept of surveillance and the expansion of the surveillance state.
Yeah.
Just, your opinion. Do you think that this is, something we should be worried about? That this is an example of that burgeoning?
Well, I don't know if this is an example of that, but it's so frightening that this happened, 2 days ago now, and when you go back and look and you examine this case, the first thing that crossed my mind wasn't even, oh, the FBI is keeping track of people's phones, because at this point, it's just to be expected. We've had how many different people from the NSA walk away from the National Security Agency and in the last year alone say, oh, by the way, the government is spying on you. We know Binney did it. We know, God, who else? Help me out here.
Drake.
Thomas Drake.
Famously, of course.
Yeah, and so we have a bunch of NSA agents saying, oh, by the way, the government's spying on you. And how they're actually doing it, we don't know that, because by using national security letters, the government is able to subpoena information from telecom providers tens, if not hundreds of thousands of times every single year. And due to these administrative orders, we don't really know what the government knows about us. We know that they're building a massive $8 billion data retention center in Utah. We know that some of their top-ranking former officials say, yeah, it's scarier than you would even think. And we also know that NSA, Keith Alexander, just a couple months ago, was asking for the help of hackers at DEFCON.
I mean, all of this very true. And once you sort of get into it, all becomes sort of starts to crystallize and becomes a little bit more interesting as you go along. However, why should people care right now? Because we're seeing that, with slowly but surely, all of this is still coming out, but you don't really see that anywhere being reported on. And if it is, people are saying, it's okay.
You realize, like, right now, there is absolutely nothing safe that you can possibly do in America. You cannot do anything without. No.
So I need you to. Come back. Okay, I need you to quantify that statement. That's rather bold.
Let's go back like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago to Brandon Robb, the U.S. The retired Marine Corps veteran, who posted on his Facebook a couple questionable statements, no threats, no violence. And what happened? The FBI, the Secret Service, local PD, they showed up. Had him committed for a week, and they just took him away based solely on what he was saying over the internet. Granted, that was on a public profile, and his things were out there in the open. But when you go over these national security letters and administrative subpoenas, and you realize that if you go through the testimonies of these NSA officials, yes, there is this massive surveillance program going back to predate the Patriot Act. And recently we had the whole trapwire fiasco, and we're still trying to get to the bottom of that. Is the government in cahoots with these private businesses who are conducting actual surveillance, like on the streets across the world? The documents that other hackers have found suggest that, yes, that is absolutely the case. But right now, if you were doing anything in the country, you can be watched and you won't even know it.
So let me just go back. We here at RT, we covered Brandon Robb and spoke to his attorney a little while back. Yeah. I'd like to pose a question to you, however. I mean, I know that you're very active. You have a very large presence online. Do you feel? Yes, I know.
My e-persona is something I just like to brag about. Thank you.
But my question to you is, do you take any sort of care in what you post personally?
Personally, I feel like I don't want to say that I'm an exception, but I'm on TV right now. I'm in the public eye. My job is actually to take information and give it to other people. So the information that I'm handling is just information that should be out there anyway. So personally, I'm not that concerned. If I had anything to hide, I would be downright scared off my ass, because you're really not safe right now. You're really, really, really not. And were these codes really taken from the FBI? Hopefully we'll find out sooner or later. Doesn't change the fact that you're being watched.
A lot to talk about here, Andrew. Thank you so much for coming. That was our Teen Zone with producer Andrew Blake.
Thanks.